Greetings, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. We are just getting started here, and today we're going to be doing some more live coding and discussions as we usually do here on the stream. I want to start out by welcoming everyone. So, welcome everyone in chat. I saw Stool Penner and Fixture Jake saying hi. Anyone else that's lurking, it's totally cool. You don't ever have to talk here in the chat if you don't want to. You are welcome to be a background viewer and just lurking in the chat if you like. A couple of things I want to talk about. So if you are new here, my name is Brendan, and this stream that you are watching is called DevChatter. We are a community of, I'll say, like-minded-ish people, in that we all at least agree that tech is really cool. We love programming, we love creating stuff, and we want to see some neat things really come together. So the project that we have been working on stream, let me go ahead and just get that running real fast. And I'm going to get it running by, I'm going to go ahead and just open the project in Explorer and get a PowerShell going there. So there we go, and to get this project running, all I'm going to do is do a .NET run, and since I'm in the web project, it should just start without me having to specify the project. So we are running .NET Core for this project, so that essentially means that our web project can be run on its own just as a console application. There's nothing all that special about an ASP.NET Core application, really. It is just another console app. Gets it started listening on a port for us, so let's check out the website. You know, I bet I can just click this. Can I not click it? Nope. RIP. Start up the app again, and localhost 5001 should be live. It's going to yell at me because my certificate isn't set up locally. So there we go. This is the website that we are working on. This is our DevStreams community website. We've been doing a little bit of stuff with it. We added a GraphQL endpoint because we really want to make sure that the API on this application is available and good. So one of our viewers, S&B, was nice enough to send us a pull request to add in the GraphQL library that we're using. And it sets up a couple of initial endpoints for us to get started. So what? Is my bot not running? I swear my bot's running. Did it crash for some reason? Connected using well, it's going. What's it smoking? Did I don't think I did anything that would restart the site. Well, either way, I will start up the bot. Our code is out at github.com/devchatter. You can find it all there. This is obviously the DevStreams project, so you can just head to this link and you will see it. That's all you have to do to get a look at it. If you want to contribute to the project, you are welcome to just look at the code or send us a pull request. Why does it thinks the site's running, but it's not? That's so weird. The site is most definitely not running, but Visual Studio seems to think it is. There it goes. Okay, it actually built that time. Weird. Alright. Well, the bot should be in there now. Something strange was going on with Visual Studio there. Oh, Stool Penner got it. Thanks. There we go. So, as I was saying, the projects are available out on GitHub, and if you are interested in contributing or anything like that, I highly recommend that you join our Discord. Again, linked in chat. That's best place to chat with me or any of the other developers really that are here on the stream at all. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about GraphQL. I'm new to GraphQL, so we're going to learn a little bit about this together. So I am just figuring it out. I used OData a bunch in the past, but that's been a while, and I've made tons of REST APIs. One of the big concepts with GraphQL is to and with many other solutions for like more advanced API querying, is to essentially make the job of the API builder a little bit more in depth, because you need to build for GraphQL instead of just exposing some basic REST endpoints. And the goal on that is flipped. So instead of building the API with the idea of, well, how do we make this pretty easy for the API builder, instead what we're doing is we're saying, let's make it so the client calling the API has an easier time. So that is the goal. Make it so that querying the API is easy. And you get the right info. So let's take a look at what that looks like in this site. And the way we're going to do that is we have a UI playground. It should be right over here. Let's see if this loaded correctly. There we go. Oh, because I changed the URL so it doesn't have the local storage, so I'm going to have to put this back in. Okay. Let's run the site differently. So I started it up in here. I'm not going to do that. Can't kill that. Kill the site. Die website. Let's run it in IIS Express, which is actually going to get it different port numbers and everything. So we're going to run this version of the site instead. And you'll see why in a second. I have some saved... yeah, see, I have local storage data that the playground is using, so I don't have to type all that again. So this is the querying that we get. So when I hit this play button, you'll see that I have a validation error because I was messing with this a little bit ago. But if I get rid of that, now it works just fine. So the data that this is pulling back, and this, by the way, this page that we're looking at, this is just a little helper page that you're able to just add on to your website if you're using GraphQL libraries that we are. And essentially all this does is it exposes this URL and allows us to go to this page and make any queries that we want. So this is a basic channel query right here, so named. And what we're able to do with it, we're able to say, hey, I want to get channels, and from those channels I want to pull back ID and name. We could have also pulled back other things like the URI, for example, and then you'll see that that suddenly is in my query. So essentially what it's doing is it's saying, hey, I'm going to give you control of exactly what data you want to get back. So the client can ask for whatever they want. So I'm pulling back next stream, for example. I don't have to ask for next stream if I don't want. I could just do this, and then next stream is not included in the data. I also could have said if I were just doing a query where really all I wanted was the channel information, but I didn't want the tags or anything like that, you can see that that is available as well. So it gives a lot of power to the client, the one requesting the data. So this is what we are able to pull. So it's very cool, very powerful to be able to just, you know, piece by piece say what you want. So for example, on tags here, I could have also asked for the ID and not just the name. And so now I have the tag ID in addition to the name, which I actually, for this query, probably want the tag ID as well. Maybe I could use the name or the tag. Either one should be fine. But that kind of information's there. In addition, next stream, there's other stuff we could have pulled as well. So I could have pulled local time values instead of pulling back the UTC ones. Now, I pulled the UTC ones because we're planning on doing the conversion of UTC to local time in the client application here, because we won't really know what time zone you're in until you show up, and we're going to use moment.js to determine how to display it. So right now we're displaying it in UTC time. Not ideal, but we do need to get that moment.js library in order for that to work better. Okay, so how does this all connect to the backend code? Well, I'm glad you asked that, you know, theoretical person that is actually me in that conversation with myself. Anyway, here's the change that I'm currently... I'm in the middle of a change. I was going to put this in here because I wanted to make sure I talked about the right thing. So I put this in here as the reminder of, hey, here's what we're going to do today. So before my little modification here, the way that this channels stuff worked is it would accept a tag ID argument and in theory we could get to this point with that value being called. So I'm going to try debugging this and see if we can't hit that spot when I pass in a tag ID. Now we're not using the value, but in theory the GraphQL piece should be there. /UI/playground. There we go. Now this time I did not pass in a tag ID, so when I do this and step once, you'll see that that ID is 0 because I did not pass it in. So there was no value. We told it this was an int, and it came back, it grabbed the argument and found nothing. So let's continue on. So currently it's just grabbing all channels and pulling back all the data. We don't want to do that. We want to restrict the channels based on which tag you specified. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to pass in a tag ID of 1. I guess for now we'll just hard code it in there as 1. And now when I hit that, we come in here, and let me step one time. An ID now has a value of 1. So, boom, we actually have, so like, that's actually wired up. We have the tag ID now inside of our query. So that means we're now to the point, so GraphQL, all I had to do to make that work is just tell it, hey, the channels query, I should say the channels field of the DevStreams query, that field can contain an argument, and that argument in this case is going to be the tag ID. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to let this go ahead and continue for now, and we should get back the results just the same, because this tag ID I passed in doesn't really make a difference. Now I happen to know that that tag ID is C#, and so because DevChatter and new channel 1 both include the C# tag, if we just test with ID of 1, it should eliminate the Brendonius channel. So, by the way, I'm Brendonius. Hi. Hello, everyone. I use that name on Twitter, and I also use it here on Twitch. That's that's primarily my gaming account here on Twitch, not my programming one, hence why I'm DevChatter here. A little confusing, but don't worry about it. Fixture Jake, you moved to the laptop. Time for... Oh, fun stuff. I have not been a C++ dev in a while. It has been quite a long time since I've really seriously used C++. Let's go ahead and stop the site, because we need to be able to filter by tag ID. Now, there's a couple of ways we could do this. We need to get channel objects based on what tag values they have. So we could, for example, make a slightly different repository. Instead of passing in this one, the iCrud repository for the DevStreams query, we could instead use the Brendan, use your brain for a second here. We could make a new interface for that's a more advanced version. So instead of being a generic repository, we could go with something that is more specific to our... Okay, so we are resolving all the dependencies to get our DevStreams query, to be able to get that, and the iDependency resolver is a GraphQL iDependency resolver, which means that the GraphQL code should be wiring up dependencies somewhere. Where is this referenced? Here it is. So, iDependency resolver, does this have... Did this use the Crud repository, or did it use the other one? Instant graph type, local type, graph, ISO, graph type, query, schema. Okay. So those wire up there, and everything else wires up in the other spot. That makes sense. So let's head over to our basic startup. Oh, register GraphQL. Here it is. Nice. Okay. So let's jump down here, and the iCrud repository is defined right here. Let's take a look at it. So Dapper Crud repository, what's it take in? We do not want to wire up tags to this, but what we could do is make another interface. Hey, the Michael Jolly! Welcome! And thanks for that sub. 4 months in a row! Nice! You are quite the hatch and egg at this point. You're almost all the way out of that thing. Yes, I did update my layout, and the Michael Jolly, I do want to mention something cool about that. I'm going to be doing something neat with that layout. This is not done. So I like the new layout, but we're going to be doing something kind of cool with it. So I'm not totally set on exactly how it's working. It's certainly not done. This is like the preview version of it. So, and I'm going to do some cool things with it. You'll see. I think you'll like it. I will tell you what's coming. Maybe towards the end of the stream, I will talk about it. But there's going to be some cool stuff with it. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna tell you what. Why would I tell you immediately? There's cool stuff. We're gonna be building it eventually. Don't you worry. Okay, so I need to wire up a thing that gets us channels. So I could leverage this, which I might do, except that I need a very specific where clause on this thing. So I could use the get all with a filter and an argument, where, and then filter, and then the argument. Yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, I think I can get away without doing this. So here's what we're going to do. I'm not a big fan of this, but it'll work today. So I'm going to put in a note to myself here. To do, remove this hack, replace with... Dapper GraphQL implementation. So we're going to use a more advanced library that's designed to integrate Dapper and GraphQL correctly. So we're going to hopefully wire that up in a nicer way in the next version, but I want to get this working today. So the way we're going to do it is this. We're going to pass in a filter, and then we need to pass in our arguments, which in this case is going to be a new object with tag ID equal to ID, but I'm going to rename that value because I don't want it to be called ID long term, because that's not the right name. So we're going to call it tag ID. So tag ID is tag ID. We'll do it that way. So we're going to make a new anonymous object with a single tag ID on it. That's going to be the only property of that object. We're going to have a filter that is going to be yeah. Which one is this? Channel? It shouldn't make a difference. They should be the same. That was just based on typing. Okay, so filter, so it's after that. Alright, so ooh, can I get away with this? I may not be able to get away with this. Because we put it on a separate table, I might not be able to get away with it unless I actually put the value on there, like literally on there. Which maybe we have to do that. Repo get all channels where, yeah, no, we can't do it this way. We have to write a special thing that's going to do it. So I'm going to change this to, instead of the iCrud repository, we're going to use something else. Which is funny. Actually, now that I think about it, am I the one that changed that? Nope, I was not. Okay, so let's write a new thing. We're going to call it iFoo, because I don't have a name for it yet, so it's going to be foo. it's going to live in our core project. Whoops, not in the project. It's going to be an interface that'll be named iFoo for now. Yeah. And it's going to have public... whoops, not public. It's going to have get channels by tag, which is going to return back a list of channel objects. And one tag or multiple. Get channels by tags, and this is going to take a params int array tag IDs. There we go. I think that's the structure that I want to call. Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome, the Michael Jolly. It should be fun stuff. The implementation I'm currently using really is a preview. It's not the final version of what I'm doing. So it's all going to get replaced by a different way of doing the same thing. Well, sort of the same thing. Okay, so that should take in iFoo. So what is foo then? Because it's not the basic CRUD repository. It is like iChannel repository. Fixture Jake, coming in with a tier 1 sub. Welcome to the DevChatter crew. Congratulations. Please have an egg. Your Chatosaurus, as you will. Please take care of it. You'll notice it next to your name there in the chat. So if you go ahead and say anything in chat, you'll see a nice little egg next to you. That is yours to keep as long as you're subscribed to the channel. If you stick around for 3 months, you'll get a nice hatched egg like what you see next to the Michael Jolly's name here in the chat. And stick around for at least 6 months with that, and you will end up with a fully hatched adolescent Chatosaurus like what our friend Stoolpenner has right there. Stoolpenner with... Stoolpenner, I don't know when your next resubscribe is, but when that comes up, your Chatosaurus will have figured out how to use the little grabbers to be able to pick stuff up. Awesome, thanks Fixture Jake. Much appreciated. Glad to have you here and part of the crew. We always like having new people joining in. Yeah, we do want to do that. You know what? We're not going to rename it that way. That's too challenging. So what was I going to call it? I was going to call it interface iChannel. It's not exactly just the repository. I guess we'll call it the iChannel repository, and it will also be an iCrud repository, I think. Just leveraging the other one, because you can do anything else you want. So it'd be get all, and then get channels by tag is what's going to make it specifically the channel one. So we'll see what that is. 10 days away. Oh, nice, Stoolpenner. Yeah, because we now have as an affiliate of Twitch, our channel is able to have 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, and 12-month subscriber badges. So we added in the Chatosaurus holding his little grabbers, which, if you never noticed, that's actually how he's holding up the hype sign in our emote. Is using these little grabbers because his arms are too short. He wouldn't be able to hold the sign up above his head without them. So, yeah, that's what we do there. So, iChannel repository, I think we're going to leverage this for now. I'm not huge on that, but we'll call it that. Channel, and I'm actually just going to shorten to repo. Because I do know what that is. So that's going to be an iChannel repo. We need this implemented, so the nice thing, once we do that, we shouldn't technically need that one anymore. We should just be able to get away with this one. So channel repo, and this needs to get replaced by get channels by tag. Ooh, that should be tag IDs. Tag ID. So the cool thing, if anyone doesn't know this within C#, there's a neat thing that I want to talk about, and that is get channels by tag. So I want to point this out because it's kind of cool. So tag ID in this case is a single integer. So if you were to look at this, you might be thinking the get channels by tags method takes in a single integer. It does not. We're using what's called we're using params. So this is a special keyword that's in C#. There's equivalents in other languages. JavaScript has this as well, and many others do also. It's essentially saying when you enter in the data for this tags ID array, when you're calling it, you're allowed to just list them. So I could just say, I could just do this, right? And this will create an array automatically for me, but I'm not going to do that. So that's actually what, you've probably used this a lot. It's inside of the system libraries inside of .NET, and so you've probably used a lot of params arrays before, but you just didn't even realize that you had done it. So I'm going to change this to be by tag IDs, because I want to be explicit about that so people know, hey, I'm passing in tag IDs, not like tag names or tag objects, and we're just going to be clear about that. But that's not a hack yet, so we're not going to get, so we don't need that comment anymore. So we did change how this works a little bit. We don't have an implementation of that, so I am going to need to fix that part, but I do like the way it is set up now. This is not the worst thing I've ever done, by far. So let's hop on over to Dapper. Dapper, let's take a look at what you've got. Dapper Crud repository. Okay. Coding Gorilla, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. Glad you're here. So we're going to say Dapper channel repository. And to be honest, you know what? I am not sure I want to keep that other piece on there. I'm not sure I want to keep this here. We may need to break that interface. We might need to segregate that interface a little bit more. We'll see what happens. So we're going to put this on here. I have not added our more advanced repository setup yet, which is what worries me a little bit. You know what? Cancel that. This is going to be an iChannel repository, but it's also just going to be Dapper Crud repository, I think. Because now I can get away with this. Yeah, there we go. Totally cheating. Totally cheating whole way. Didn't do any of that work myself. As I said, not exactly the best way to do this, but it's going to get us off the ground today. And that's the key, is we're going to replace this anyway, so let's make it work relatively nicely to start. So I want... What do I want? I want this. Yeah, so we're going to steal this. This, because it's a public method, I want to give this those comments. So we're going to fill that in a minute here. Table name, we don't need that here. Table name is going to be consistent on here. So actually, I'm just going to put it right here for now because we are putting in the... So it's going to be channels where this filter is going to be special. We do want to have a DB connection here. That's going to be a SQL connection using that value. Oh, I didn't save the settings. Let me do that. So we're going to say DB settings. So make sure you're watching this. Database settings.value. So if you don't know how this works, within ASP.NET Core, they added this new iOptions concept. And essentially what it does is it makes available to us any of our settings that we put inside of our system. So in this case, we have a database settings that we wired up, and it will give us that object through iOptions. The challenge is that I then have to call .value on it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a field from this that we're just going to call database settings. So that gives us private database settings right here. Oh, I was supposed to call it DB settings. My bad. We don't have to match it with that, but I'd rather it match just so that we're a little bit consistent there. We don't need to call base. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should just grab it off the base. Yeah, we're going to grab it off the base object. I'm not even going to put that there. We're going to go in here, and we're just going to make it protected instead of private. Protected. And then that is going to access that. And we're going to say return await connection async. Async task of list of channels, which means I need to modify this to be a task of list of channels. And if you haven't seen how async and await, if you're not up on the new stuff, the task is basically a way of wrapping that, hey, this is going to get an asynchronous result, so it's not necessarily done immediately at the time that you call it. So if you want to wait for it, you can. And that's essentially how that works. So this should be a constant. Const string SQL select star from channels where... oops. We don't need that. Select star from channels where... how do we want to build this? So our args are actually going to be the tag IDs. So we're just going to make a quick object here. Instead of args, we're going to say new object, and it's going to be tag IDs. There you go. And we're going to pull back an async channel list from this. And then that is going to be our using system.link call there. Okay. Link slumps. No, that is a coincidence. I am not going to be singing on this channel. Not even if we pulled in the Michael Jolly as a guest would I be singing on here. No one wants to hear that. I occasionally hum, but that's entirely different. Definitely not going to be any singing on here. Select star from channels where we need to do something kind of fun with this. So let's write this very fast. View. Where's the database stuff? Is Michael Jolly in here right now? Darko the Noob. Hey, greetings. Welcome back. Wait, what? How is everyone today? Why is there an asterisk there? The second one. Yeah, hey, the Michael Jolly is still here, see? I was just wondering because I called you out and you didn't mention anything about that when I was... I swear data's in here somewhere, isn't it? Isn't the, What's it supposed to be? There's one of these things, data tool operations. What is the... I don't remember what it's called. Hang on. You know, if I don't want to hear you sing, then we SQL Server Object Explorer. That's what it's called. SQL Server Object Explorer. It was right there, and I couldn't even see it. I kept looking for data instead of SQL Server. I don't know why I was looking for data instead of SQL Server. That doesn't make any sense. So let's pull this out. Let's take a look at our database. So our database for this project is right here. So we're going to write a quick query for this and make sure that we get it right. So we want to access channels, and channel tags is where we really want to look. So let's go ahead and write a quick query. We'll start with that. And we're going to say select star from channels. So first off, let's just run this. Sanity check. There's our data. Okay. And we want to say where. Let's see. ID in Now we have two ways that we can do this. We could do this as a subquery. That's one option. Or we could do a join. So either one should be fine. I think what I'm going to do is this. So I'm going to do an inner join, and we are going to join on the channel tags table. We're going to nickname that CT and this one C, and we're going to say on CT dot channel ID equals C dot ID. Now the nice thing about this is we can now just say where CT dot tag ID is in. No, because if we do this, we're going to get back one for every single tag, and I don't want to do that. I could select, we'll say, there we go. I can type, everyone. Distinct C star, C dot star, from channel ID, where channel is at, and the tags, and where tag is in. And let's just do 1 for now. So, just so we have the right structure, even though that's not the right one. So we got back DevChatter and new channel 1, a single version of each. So there is our query that should work inside of that code. So we're going to paste that right there and make this all one line again. No, we'll put it on multiple lines. So I'm going to put an @ sign. If you don't know that in C#, that's a very useful thing to just know, is that you can put an @ sign, and that will actually let you have new lines inside of your string. So I can put it like this, and it still treats it as one string instead of having a break at the line there. We should have a live coders take to singing episode. Link slumps. We absolutely could have some kind of thing like that. Okay, like a year ago, literally, like last April, I was trying to convince C# Fritz that he and I should do a stream where we did, played some Overwatch or something like that, did some kind of a gaming thing. I do want to see if I can organize some live coders events where we do stuff that's out of the ordinary. Oh, the Michael Jolly, I didn't think it was a punishment at all, I thought it was very nice. You are quite the talented singer. Tag IDs. I should say talented musicians, because you do more than just sing. So join, so from channel tag, CT, CT channel ID, C star. So this should get us back channel objects. We'll use that as our string. You know what? There is a thing I want to do. So I'm going to do this, because this has been bugging me for a while. So I want to extract that as a method right here, and I want to call this I'm just going to call that query async. We're going to make it generic. This is not what it's going to pass in. It's going to take in this instead. Why I wanted to extract that, is it because we have another error? T. Extract this as a parameter, please. Okay, so this is object. We're going to call that args. And now let me see. Will you let me make it a parameter now? There we go. Args. Okay, it's complaining because that's going to break things. Great. It's not going to break things. You're just being dumb. Okay, so now we have that. And no, this is not where it's going to live, anyone that's wondering that. Tag IDs. So if we're doing this every time, we might as well just simplify it to that. And then just do this in one spot. So, Really? Keyboard shortcut? You're not gonna do that? Yep, pull that up into the Dapper Crud repository. That's correct. So now it's up there. So this no longer actually even has anything to do with the connection. It's pulling that from the parent there. I don't need that query any longer. We don't need this. DevStreams query, where did that get pulled? Whoops, not that one. Should be in the Dapper one. Let's open this and take a look at where that ended up. It wants to rename that because it's protected. I keep private and protected named the same thing, actually. Okay, so basic query async. Here, put it on the bottom. Perfect. That is exactly where we wanted it. Where are the basic query asyncs? So they're this one. So that same thing could just be done on this, but for now this is only getting called in one place. We'll fix the other ones later to use the same one, so we're waiting on that. And then that should be, I think it's done. I think it's done. This needs to get wired up somewhere. So I'm going to go to Startup, which I thought was still open. Guess I closed it. iCrud repository services dot adds. Why did I do transient? I don't actually know why we did that. Channel repository. Dapper channel repository. Oh, that's the other thing we need to do. We need to adjust this so that it's brain. My brain's gonna engage. We need to do composition instead of inheritance on this, obviously. Let me put a note. Switch this to composition instead of inheritance. This just gets us, like, I just did this because it was the shortcut to get us running right now, but we're going to want to switch that sooner rather than later. I just like to get to results and working code first and then get rid of that. So this should all be wired together, and that's literally just the call to the database. Nothing fancy on there at all. Let me stop the website so that we can actually restart it and make sure that we see it working. So that should stop the website, and I think I got everything wired up. I'm going to check out chat here in a second. I saw people were saying things. There we go.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
S&B coming in with the 9-month resub. 9 months! You get your grabbers! You got the little, like, you can hold hype signs above your head now. Congratulations, S&B. That is awesome. What do we got here? So I assume channel ID is guaranteed to not be null. Link slumps, that is correct. Channel ID will not be null. It absolutely has to be there. Oh hi, I'm on Windows 10 now. Oh, nice. That is awesome. I'm a big fan of Windows 10. I think it's actually been quite good. Hey S&B, welcome, and yay, yeah. See, that little guy's got his grabbers now, so totally ready to hold up hype signs. Eva, actress, you need to sub. I mean, you can sub if you want. People are always welcome to sub. We get excited about it. No one's required to sub here. Obviously, we love it when people do. We love the community involvement and everything like that. But no one's ever required to sub. Let's go ahead and try a thing. Is this site running? Yeah, it is. Okay. So first off, channels. RIP. No channel data. Okay. So what happened? Did I not call that method? Maybe I didn't call that method. We're going to toss this here, and we're going to take a look at what's going on. Oh, did I? No, I didn't. No, well, we'll find out. Debug. What's going on, debugger? You are playground. Run that. Alright, we caught our breakpoint here. Our tag ID was 0. Oh, because I didn't pass in any tag ID. Okay, right. Tag ID 1. So first off, continue that, and then continue this one. We'll see if we get data first. Okay, we did. Cool. All right. So here's what we have to adjust. We didn't handle everything, and that is that we need to adjust our query because so yeah, I didn't pass in tag ID at all, but the problem is our query is actually not right. So our query needs to say that if there were none, then we still return it. So let's do it like this. Let's grab our old code. What did it do before? It did this. It returned this value instead. So we'll say if tag ID greater than 0, then do this one. So this will be our shortcut for now. Not the best way to write this, but it'll do the trick for now. Otherwise, we're returning, whoops, return channel repo, channel repo dot get all. So if you didn't specify a tag, do that. Otherwise, we're gonna do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and run it. Oh, you have a bad graphics card. That makes it hard to stream, actually, also. Because you do need a graphics card to be able to do this pretty well. Oh, and you don't use Prime. Yeah. Coding is both easy and hard, Eva. It is easy to write some code. It is hard to actually develop software. Really, in the long run. I think a lot of people run into that, is that lots of stuff becomes very challenging over time. So okay, so we pass in nothing, we get back all of our data sets, which actually let me remove. I'm just gonna cut this just so we can see it better for now. So we're gonna pull that and so a little bit less data. So we have Brendonius, we have new channel 1, and we have DevChatter. Let's add tag ID as 1. So we passed in C# being the required tag, and these don't show up. Now let's see if we can limit down just to the DevChatter one. So I'm going to pass in 49, which is the tag for VueJS, of which that's the only channel that does. And what was one that only new channel 1 has? Web development? We both do web development, so I cannot limit down to just new channel 1 right now. But either way, the point being that querying seems to work. So fantastic, cool stuff there. Yes, S&B, we do have a new overlay for the channel that is related to a thing that I was kind of mentioning earlier on the stream, but I haven't really talked about yet. So there will be something going on with the overlays for the channel, which maybe some people know, maybe they don't. But the Michael Jolly certainly seemed interested in what we were doing there. It always seems it's easy to do the hard stuff and hard to do the easy stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. Almost all the times we run into stuff, there was some derpy little mistake we made somewhere. For example, the thing when I was like right here, I'm like, oh, I didn't pass in a tag ID, so it came back with none because I didn't wire it up to be able to do that yet. So either way, that does seem to work now. So this will be our hacked in little tag filtering piece. How many commits are on this? Adding tag selection to the channel list. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that should work. So which piece is this? So we added a channel repository, Dapper Crud repository. With that, DevStreams tags, channel repo. Add get channel by tag. we'll say add get channel by tag data access code. So that adds the code to be able to do that. Now, let's take a look at the front-end piece that needs to call that. The Michael Jolly, S&B is actually correct, 100%. That is exactly what is going to happen. We're going to give our viewers control of our overlay so that you will get to decide the color of all of the lights around the stream. So that will be a thing that happens. So yeah, so that's the idea. Link Slumps is we will give the viewers the power. And yes, you could choose black, for example, which I don't know how we're going to do that. Whether or not we're going to try to do like a glowing effect if you do black, like, you know, almost like a black lightsaber, if you've ever seen the way that Star Wars does that. It's a cool concept of, you know, like, how do you make something glow that's black? They've got some cool ways to do it, so we're going to want to do something with that. I'll probably get someone to nice up the overlay, but I like this basic design. I want to adjust something around me here, like this section. I don't know what to do with that, but I like the other boxes. So, and I took a look at what it's going to do when we have guests. So I'm going to have to restrict them to that little space in the top right. Yeah, top right. They're up there, which is up and to the left from me, because that's how that stuff gets really confusing. But either way, should work. Should be cool. Let's jump over here. Over to, what was I gonna do? Huh. So I need to make that multiple tags instead of just one, first off. So that's a change we're gonna have to make still, because we currently only pull one tag. But before I do that, I want to get the front end wiring up at all. No, let's wire it up so it's multiple tags to start with. Okay, so let's say tag IDs is the new name of the argument on our query. So we're going to grab the tag IDs argument, and instead of being int, it's going to be an int array. So int array, tag IDs, plural. If tag IDs dot any, then pass tag IDs into that. Otherwise, call this one, which is the cheater's way of handling that, but it works, so I'm not going to complain. So that should wire it up so it does multiple. Now let's jump to the front end page. We actually need the JavaScript for it. So what is it called? It's called channel index.js, this one. I think this is the one. Channel list, yeah, multi-select, view, default. So it is going to be selected tags. So we fetch channels, and before I do that, let me just make sure I get this query right. Before we modify that, we're going to do it in the UI playground and make sure I don't mess anything up. Link slumps. Yeah, I'm not passing it from the front end yet. You'll see it's not here. Could not copy the file? Okay. So basically what that means is that IS Express is being stupid and doesn't want to let go of the site. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill the site, and we're going to start it over again. Because the site's running, it just doesn't want to let go. Sometimes you gotta force a site to restart, because it just doesn't want to. UI playground, here we go. So we're gonna say channels, tag IDs, and how do we pass an array, I wonder? If I pass a single one, okay, so it does not consider that to be an array. Do I do like this? derp. Oh, geez, I didn't alter that. Okay, yeah, no, that's on me. Where's the query? I need to change the type. So GraphQL knows the types of things. I told it this was an ID graph type, which is not true anymore. It was. I need to go look up the various graph types that are available to me. List graph type, thank you. That's the one. And would it be list graph type of int? No, it'd be a graph type. So it would be an ID graph type. So list graph type of ID graph types. Good call, S&B. Thanks for that. Let's see. Yeah, GraphQL.net. Here we go. I just want to confirm what it gets us back, whether it can be a list or whether it's So field is list graph type, so it does pull back a list of the episode enum. So yeah, okay. So it'll be a list, not an array. Which it might automatically switch between those, but I just want to make sure I get the right one so that we don't run into a problem. Welcome, developers coming in from the Robert Tables stream. Greetings and hello. I think we need some people to throw up some hype and defense here in the chat from our side. Thank you, S&B, for getting us with some of those hype emotes. Welcome, Frackberg, Klein friend, we're going to say. I translated that for you. Well, you're welcome, everyone. Mampers, Escherina, Nick, welcome, greetings. Hey, Brandon Satram, greetings, Pixelreth, James N, I'm guessing. And happy Saturday to you too, Robert Tables. Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you all here. We're doing a little bit of GraphQL and C#, ASP.NET Core, fun stuff like that. We're just looking up how to get the values in here that we need. I'm going to see if I can get away with just restricting that to one of these types. And did I tell this it was... Oh, it was a params array. Because I tried to get fancy. So we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and try out this code that we're doing. So I'm going to tell you all about the project that we're working on. And welcome, everyone here. Glad to have you. We're doing basically a nice Saturday of playing around a little bit with GraphQL, figuring it out, trying to make it work. We are new to this here. Tag IDs. Actually, let's pass it in without that parameter first and see what happens. Okay. Try tag IDs and try passing in that. No. What does it not like about it? So, welcome. Thanks for those follows, Nick, Stormfist, and Escherina. Welcome. GraphQL is a kind of like a querying language for an API is probably a good way of describing it. Yes, Klein, that is a Mad Max line there. And essentially what it does is its goal is to make it so your API is more client-friendly instead of more back-end-friendly. So kind of the idea there being your client is usually going to use your code in a, what is this? GraphQL is the new REST. Yes, Mamperset, that is a great description. So GraphQL is a new way of doing this. The goal, of course, being that we want the person querying to be able to tell us, hey, what do you want? How do you want it? How do you want it structured? How do you want it ordered? What filtering do you want? So it's sort of like querying an API instead of having to make multiple requests, which is the big problem with a REST API, is if you need to nest down to get to other values, a lot of times in a REST API, you're having to make 3 or 4 calls, and we want to try to limit that. Eva, have a good one. We hope to see you back soon, and thanks for hanging out. Exactly, Klein. The movie was, the storyline of the movie didn't really matter that much. That's one of the nice things about it. You really don't need much there. Okay, so what's it? No service for type list graph has been registered. What? There's a query argument of list graph type of int. We'll try this for now. What is it? ID graph type. We'll try that and see what happens. If anyone is wondering, our code is actually out on GitHub as well. So I posted a link to it there in chat. Oh, it can't copy the files. The site doesn't want to restart. Site, stop being lame. You don't have a DVD player anymore? That is a bit of a challenge. I have game consoles. That's the only thing I have that can really run DVDs anymore. I don't think I've bought a dedicated DVD player in a long time. Let's see. Tag IDs is 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, now it's wired up and now it does work. So you are required to pass in the tag IDs right now. Which, I wonder if I can get away with that. How do I make this optional? An optional argument. Let's ask the interwebs. And let's say .NET, because GraphQL. Yes, optional parameters. Yes. Wait, I'm not saying non-null. I didn't say non-null, though. Maybe the fact that it's a list is what's requiring it? Huh. Yeah, so, it's not, yeah, it is a little weird. So I was hoping to not actually even have it in the parameter, but I guess I could pass up an empty array every time and just not worry about it. So I'll just pass in the array every time. So let's make this actually have variables then. So I'm trying to remember how the variables on these work, which I don't remember the syntax, so I'm gonna hop over here, whoops, into this one, I meant. And there we go. So I am gonna require that I have these variables every time then. So this is gonna be tag IDs. And tag IDs. Oh, whoops! Actually, why did I even do that? That is a that is not IDs. That is a type in their system. GraphQL list type. Type system. Is it wrapped in? It's probably wrapped in square braces, right? Yep, I'm betting it's that. Roll 3 dice. Yeah. So they wrap in square braces and say int on that. So we're gonna say like that, I think. Oh yeah, you're right. I could do it as an ID type instead of an int type, which has a different thing. Robert Tables, you love GraphQL? Awesome. Hopefully you know it well enough to chime in if I derp on something. Hey, Rambling Geek, welcome. Greetings. Glad to see a bunch of friendly people here. Always nice things for streams. Get channels, tag IDs, channels. This now needs to actually leverage that parameter. So what is this? Tag ID. You know what? I'm gonna actually go put this. I'm gonna write the query over here, Brendan, where it makes sense to write the query. Okay, so down here, I need to create tag IDs, and this needs to be 1, 2. So C# and JavaScript are what we're going to look for. We're going to pass in tag IDs, and then this, I believe, does $ tag IDs. I think if we want to pass in that parameter, I think is how that works. Okay. 49. Does that remove the other one? Yes, it does. Okay. Wired up. It's working. So we can now use this variable to pass in whatever tags we want to include. So if I make that an empty array, this should come back with everything. Yes, it does. Perfect. Perfect. And before I do that, let me pull this code in as well, just so this is the complete query. So there's next stream and that, and then these two tabbed over. There we go. So there's the structure that we actually want to build. This is our code. That's the data we want. Hooray. It works. It's alive. Boom. Nope, we don't need to escape it, but we do need to do that with it. Yeah, let's do that. So channels, ID, there's our object. I need to pass in variables to this. So I've got query there, but I need to pass in variables as well. And this is also going to be something like this. I need to remember how I passed this last time. Did you do that in any of yours? Yes. Yes, you did. Variables is this, and it's right after the query. Derp, so it's like this. But it's from this side, so no, it's not like that. Yeah, except I have to actually write it this way now. Let's see. JavaScript, GraphQL. Welcome, Based-san? Greetings. Read that as it's a list of X, so any list is square brackets, and what is inside the square brackets is the type of the list, hence int t. Yeah, exactly. Yep, makes sense. Can you default the arg to a new list in the field? Ooh, maybe SNB, maybe. That actually is probably a good idea. JavaScript object literal notation now. Yeah, it should be. I'm just wondering, can I pass it in as the actual data, or am I passing it as a string, is what I'm wondering. Which actually I meant to do variables. Query that, Okay, no, not that one. I didn't mean to go to that one. This one, where we pass in variables. So, post variables. Okay, so it can just, I think we can get away with just basically doing the object instead of making it a literal like that. I think we can just pass the object when we're in this case. So at that point, we can just say, this is derp, it's this, and this is going to be tag IDs, and the variable that we're going to have in here is selected tags. Filters. Actually, I'm just going to call it tag IDs, which I'm going to change in the code that uses this now as well. So hang on one second, everybody, while I change this, because this is going to be a way nicer way of dealing with this. So it is not selected tags, it is tag IDs, because now what I'm going to do is this. Search filters is the object I'm going to try to send. So we're going to try sending this .search filters and see if it blows up. So variables is going to be this .search filters when we call that. And S&B, I did see your suggestion of setting the default value in the query itself. So let me catch up on chat here real fast, just make sure I didn't miss anything crazy going on. I suppose something like variables that... yeah, so Klein, that might work. I'm hoping I can get away with not doing the JSON like string actually in there. I'm hoping I can get away with an actual JavaScript object instead of having to use the notation for it. I think you need to tell it which variable, which... this has... I'm going to try running it. We're going to see what happens. The true magic in GraphQL lies in your resolvers. That's where you know what happens. How do you get the dots leading up to each indent? Oh, you're talking about those that just disappeared there. So that's visual white space. I am the bull. And that is essentially just lets you see any spacing, which has the use of, I can see that that dot is right there. So if someone left a sequence of spaces right here, I can actually just see that and just clear it out whenever I want. I can adjust spacing. I can also see if someone actually put real tabs in there instead of spaces, because that'll appear differently. Like that is actually a tab. Hilariously. There was one right here. I don't know why there was a tab there, but there was. That's kinda crazy. I don't know where that came from. But either way, you can just spot those. The way I turn it on is with Control RW, but it also appears somewhere. I don't remember where that setting is. It's somewhere in Visual Studio, but RW is in like really white space. DevChatter, that comes down to the same object literals will be turned into objects upon executing. Yes, I know, but my point, Klein, was I think I can get away with not writing the string. I think I can get away with actually having the object and not having to make it switch. It should just work. I prefer my indentation to alternates between 10. Thanks, Klein. Yeah, I prefer all one as well. And I have no idea why the bot is rigged. Yes, I did not want to use the string representation of it if I could avoid it. I'm totally cool with having an actual literal there, and just declaring a literal there, and that's fine, versus putting an object in there that's obviously referencing something else that's created probably from a literal as well, but the point being not having to create another one there. And not have it be in a string, because I do not want that. That would be silly. Let's take a look, though. No more wasting time on this. I am going to stop the website, and we're going to start it up again and see what happens. And why did I stop the website? Well, because I just wanted to, because I couldn't remember if I'd made some changes other than the one that we were just looking at. So first things first, let's go to this page and try running this again. Everything still work here? Yep. And I can change the values to say, like, well, no one has that number, so I should get back none, which I do. Excellent. And switch it to 1, and I get back data again. Fantastic. Now that we're on the home page, let's go to the channels page, and let's try C#. Nope. Well, something didn't wire together correctly, but it looks like it did it and came back with nothing. So my guess is that I'm not putting the ID value in here. I'm thinking that what's probably going on is I'm probably pulling the tag name instead of the value. So they all come back when I do that. So let's take a look in Vue at what the data is, and I'm sure we will see the problem. So search filters, tags, I think that's expanded down. C#. We have the actual thing in here, so that's not just an ID is the problem. So I would need to map that. So let's change this. We can't get away with the simple approach that I was trying to do. So we can't do this. So here's what we're going to do for now. We're going to say tag IDs equals this dot search filters dot tag IDs map, and I'm just going to do a quick map of this to the correct type. Selected tags, because that's not tag IDs. And I'm going to go back to the page again and change back the same thing. So that is actually the selected tags. And we're going to say selected tags.map, and inside a map we're going to say tag, and a big old fat arrow, and say tag dot, what was the type on that? View. Why don't you tell me what that structure looked like just so I don't mess it up? Was it just a full tag object with an ID on it? ID, yep. Okay. So tag ID. Why is this complaining? Oh, derp equals C#. So we're gonna say this tag search filter selected tags map that. All right, what's going on in the chat? Tag IDs. Yeah. Thanks, Kleinfreud. Yeah, my C# shows every once in a while. I am a C# dev first and JavaScript dev second, despite the fact that as my regulars know, I was programming JavaScript before I was programming a C#. I first learned JavaScript back in the 90s, so late 90s, like 97, 98. That's around the time I started messing with JavaScript. Sometime around that, I don't remember for certain, but one of those years. It is not it's not the same thing as it was then. JavaScript's just slightly nicer than it was in the 90s. That, of course, being a joke, it is way better than it was in the 90s. It was garbage in the 90s. Slightly, yeah, slightly. Hey, there we go. VueJS, we filtered down. Oh no, why is that one still there? Was it doing any? Why, when I added this, did it not disappear? It should have disappeared when I did that one. Okay, it's clearly not quite filtering. Oh, no, because it's doing any. It's doing any tag right now. Any matching tag will return it. I forgot we wrote the code wrong. We wrote the code wrong. That is any of these tags is included. We meant to go the other way and say you must have these tags, all of them. So yeah. So what do we want to do? How are we going to write that? Well, there's a couple of ways we could do that, actually, now that I think about it. I wonder how we want to write that. So we need to modify the code just a little bit, but that piece is working. So actually, since that piece is working, we're gonna commit this. This stuff works. Query by tag on channel page. Yep, query by tag on the channel page. That works. We want to modify the SQL code that we wrote. And yes, we are using SQL because our backend is Dapper. Why are we using Dapper is often the question that I get from people, and part of the reason that we're using Dapper is because everything else we do here on the stream, up to this point, has been Entity Framework Core. So we've been doing over a year of Entity Framework Core here on the channel, and I figured, hey, you know what, let's just do some Dapper. Because why not see a micro ORM instead of always just using the same ORM the whole time. So here we go. So this is our code right here. Right now we want to get back 0 results. Nick Larson, super biased because Dapper is amazing. Nick, why are you biased? Hey Wheatlaw, greetings, welcome. What is it? 7-Eleven. Haha, I like your name, 7-Eleven. Ancient JavaScript. Yes. You work at Stack Overflow. Oh, well, that's a legitimate reason to be super biased towards Dapper. I have used Dapper on a bunch of projects, and I actually really like it for if you are doing something that is legitimately microservices and not, I'll say, a distributed monolith, which, yes, is a kind of offensive way of describing what some solutions end up as. And notice I say describing the solutions, because I don't want to bash the developers for it. Yes, so as Nick is mentioning, the performance that you can get from Dapper instead of using something like EF is just massive. Now, the trick is that does mean that you have to write a little bit of SQL. You can get away with, there are a number of tools that just will pre-make the basic SQL stuff, so you want to do simple inserts or selects and those sorts of things. Most of those you don't have to write yourself. Someone has written a library where it'll create the SQL for you, and the simple stuff is just out of the way. But for doing anything more advanced, you are going to write the SQL for it instead of just using like LINQ as you would with Entity Framework. But the nice part is that means you get control of the query it does. So you don't end up with any of those times where you had an index and for some reason, even though you told EF about it, it didn't want to use it, and you're just kind of like, meh, I'm out of luck. So, okay, so we want to write this. Now I don't know what the most efficient way of getting this data is going to be, but let's try and think about it a little bit. So we want to select. So I'm selecting distinct. Maybe I don't want to do that. So how do I say? I can't remember how to do this. I probably would have been able to do this a long time ago, but I don't actually remember. Whoops, didn't mean to click that button. I have a couple of extra windows running right now. I'm gonna clear them first, I think. That's our starting window. And here's our GraphQL .NET documentation we were reading. I don't know why my brain won't come up with this one. Let's see. SQL find all rows. SQL select require multiple foreign key rows. Maybe that's a good way of describing it. No. No. No, those are way too simple. Where multiple items match the condition. That might be what I'm looking for. I was thinking I could maybe do a count, but then I'm not sure. Oh, I guess I could count the tags of that. And then that could do it. Yeah, here we go. See, it's even doing tags. Of course it was doing tags. I could potentially do that wheat law, but let me toss this in here and see what we're thinking here. So, because I was thinking that maybe we could count this, but they're right. I need the count of this, which I could potentially do. Maybe I should open up SQL Server Management Studio instead of this, which would be a little bit nicer for doing this code, or something else. Oh. And welcome, James. That's either Jameson or James N. I'm not sure which. And no, I don't let you gamble your points here, Nick. Sorry, no gambling away all your points. You could play Hangman. Oh, I don't have the Hangman overlay turned on? I'm kind of surprised by that, S&B. So you'll all have to play Hangman without the overlay. So... Okay, so they're suggesting that I guess I could have the count as a second parameter. That would actually not be the worst thing. Can I group by the full value of... I don't actually know if I can do this. Group by c.start. Is that even valid? I'm not sure that's valid. No, it's not. Okay, it did get mad at me about that. So alternately, I guess I could do this. And just do the what was the word? Ukulele. Oh man, that must be like SMB. That was either you or Crimson. That was someone that put that evil word in there. I didn't put that word in there, Ace Flames here. That wasn't me. I didn't do that. All the words I added were tech words or food. So, which is a hint for anyone that's in here about what they might end up finding if you're looking for that. Okay, so select star from this. You know what? Instead of doing this one, let's... So if we join that table on that, where the tag is this value, I don't want to do multiple. I don't want to do multiples though. Hang on one second, everyone. And I'm back. Sorry about that. I just realized I didn't want to... Hangman hard mode, yeah. No, Hangman hard mode, you're looking for, like, this word here. Like, that's a hard mode word if I've ever seen one. Ukulele, of course, being another one. So what is this that I'm trying to connect to? This is... local DB, MS SQL local DB. Can I just connect to it like that? I don't know how I connect to MS SQL local DB, but I guess I'll try it. Local DB /MS SQL local DB. Can it connect that way? Fantastic, it worked. Okay. Cool. There we go. This should be it now. DevStreams DB, new query. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have that up there because I sometimes connect to C#. No one will get no one. Yeah, no, we intentionally don't put in stuff like that. They're supposed to all be letters. So they really won't guess that because I think we restrict it so they can't guess that. So it doesn't count as a letter. And S&B is correct. The other hard mode one is the fact that we have X unit, N unit, and J unit all in there. So even if you get, blank unit is the word, you don't know which unit it is. So it's quite evil in that sense. Alright, so first things first, let's run this. So that ran just fine. I'm not doing my distinct right now, so that's why we got multiples, because they matched these. So I could just do this and have them explicitly mention all the fields, but I would really rather it pull back all the data rather than individually deciding which ones we want, because I don't want to have to specify that. And as we tested, group by c.star doesn't work. I think even if I put in a count of a count star up here or something like that, yeah, it's still going to yell at me about that because it doesn't like it. So what we need to do is this. I think we're going to have to do some kind of a nested query. So let's take a look, and we'll call this as match tags. You know what? We're actually just going to interjoin it on that table. On mt dot channel ID equals c dot ID. So we're going to do that the same way. It doesn't know what MT is yet, but this where is actually going to live inside of the subquery, not out there. So we're going to put it in here, and we're going to say select channel ID from channel tags where tag ID in, whoops, I'm only pulling from one table, so where tag ID is in that, group by channel ID, we're going to say having count star equal to, we're going to say 3 in this case, which is that value, because we're going to parameterize this. So I'm going to make you pass in the count as a variable, the tag count. And this is going to be empty on that. So let's run this, see what happens. So none, good. And now changing that to 1, 2, and that to 2, testing the query, it does come back. Okay, so they are both required now. And just to check that, 49, I think, is the other one that we need. Yes, there we go. Okay, so that works. Fantastic. We made it work. Alright, now to make those actually parameters. So instead of this is going to be at tag IDs, and this is going to be at tag count. So tag IDs and tag count. And tag count is going to be equal to tag IDs dot count. Length. We said it was an array. Okay, so tag IDs tag count, and then that's that. Let's extract that. No, not the whole thing. Can you tell which one? Yeah, I want just that one. Args. There we go. So tag ID, you know what, since I wrote that one this way, just so it's not confusing to everyone, we'll keep consistent so they'll both be like that, and then that ought to work. Alright, what is going on? If it's star unit, n unit already gets excluded. Oh, that's true, n unit would get excluded. Well, that's a good point. Plus, we would prevent you from re-guessing that one as well. What do I think about NoSQL databases like MongoDB? Thickhead, I think they're useful. Font size in SQL. Bofurial? Which I hope I got your name right, or at least close. You are absolutely right. I forgot to zoom in on this font size. That is my mistake. I apologize. This is the code that we wrote over here, just so that you can see it real fast, but it's over here now. I have replaced the values with that, but I guess you probably like seeing it with the syntax highlighting. So basically what I did was, I'm selecting everything I can from the channels, and then I'm joining it against a table that I'm going to get to be just the correct IDs that we want to include. So I could do this as a where the channel ID was in, or I could do it as inner join. It doesn't really matter. They would both work. So I could have written this way. I could say where c.id. Actually, I don't need c anymore if I do it this way. I could say where ID in, and I could do this. And then that should also work. Yep, it works. Now, I don't know necessarily which one of these is going to be faster. This could be. You know, this is probably simpler to understand where the idea is in that. So we'll go with this one because I think it's probably a little bit clearer for people to read. So tag IDs and tag count still needs to get replaced there. Ooh, it put in those. Nasty. I have to adjust my SQL Server Management Studio. I don't know why it was set to use tabs instead of spaces. There's nothing wrong with tabs or spaces, but I don't want to have I don't want to be copying and pasting in from there and having that break. So we're going to call that tag count, and this is going to be at tag IDs. Fantastic. Lovely, 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 lovely. Tag IDs, tag count, perfect. That's old school SQL. Oh yeah, no, both work just fine. If you really want to find out which one's better, you can run that through like a query analysis over in Management Studio, find out what it's actually doing when it hits the database, and really optimize that. For right now, I'm not going to worry about that. I think that's digging in a little bit too far into that because that's a fairly simple query for now. we're going to leave that documentation up because I think it's useful. Oh, and a couple of things I should mention while we've got some new people here. We do have a Discord here in the DevChatter community where there are actually a lot of us, and we do talk about coding stuff, so people should go check that out. Why is my bot not running? Why did it not give us a link? Did I accidentally... I might have killed the... So... I killed the website a whole bunch of times. I killed SQL Server. I bet one of those times, instead of individually killing the DevStreams site to restart it, I'm betting I killed the whole server at one point. So let's restart that. Runk. And yes, our bot actually does run as a web application, which I might change it to be two applications that run simultaneously. One is a one being the overlays and one being the actual bot itself, which would simplify the bot quite a bit. When we added that, it added so much complexity to how it runs. So, and then also all of our code's out on GitHub. So, as I was saying, there's a Discord. There's a bunch of us that chat over there. So if you don't know what that is, go ahead and check it out. It's a good place. Thomas, show how. What thing do you want me to show how? I can show you something if you let me know what it is you want to see. So let's go ahead and try the site. Let's see, is the site running? No, site's not running. Okay. See? The query analysis. Oh! Yeah, I actually don't remember exactly how to do that. I haven't done that in years. But you can actually, I forget how to do that. Analyze query in Database Engine Tuning Advisor. This might be the one. So they have, is this the one? Yeah, it won't run on that. I need a full version of SQL Server for that to work. Which I don't put this against my, I do actually have, but this is not a, this is just a local DB that we're connected to, so, we won't get that there. Oh, yeah, you're right, Nick. You can do most of it from the query plan. That is correct. Oh, the stuff I have not done in ages. Oh, it's so long since I've done this. But yes, Nick is correct. There's stuff like that. Basically, it can tell you when it's doing, like, what type of operation in the database it's doing. So you'll be able to tell, did it actually do a full scan of everything? Did it check the index to be able to do the connection? That sort of thing. That's how you catch whether or not it really is using your index. We'll do that another time on stream. Right now, I want to get this focus. I want to focus on this and actually get this piece working. So, C#, which this is just the interface we're doing right now for this. This may change in the future. View. When I click that one, we should be left with, yep, there we go. So, we'll change the interface for how you select these, but this gave us a basic structure for now. So you can filter down channels based on tags. So, very useful, and we can see when the next stream is. So, hooray! I love it. I don't love the interface, but I love that it works. This is changing it so that S&B. Thank you very much for rounding out your number. Did that jump you into the lead? Oh no, you didn't round out your number. You jumped one over. You grabbed the golden badge. Congratulations! The golden badge of the month of April is yours. We are. What do we do? What do we do this? We change get channels by tag IDs query to use to require all tags match. Oh, we need to get a nice integration testing database set up for this solution at some point, because I'd love to actually have some data in the database and actually be running these queries against it. Oh, I need to put in the summary here. I didn't put this. Get channels by tag ID by tag IDs. Array of tag IDs Channel must have all tags. So this is list of channels containing having all past tag IDs. There's a good description of what that does. What are you talking about? I had that in there the whole time! Ha 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 ha! Yeah, right. Totally did. What commit? That's funny because normally I'd have amended that, but I have a tool that just does that for me. Gosu Teddy, welcome. Thanks for that follow. Much appreciated. I need to... Oh, yes! Yes, S&B, you're correct. Yeah. I do need to do that. Thank you for catching that. We need to make sure that that works. Okay, so this gets us back nothing. This should get us back these. Let me get rid of this value. We don't need to see the tags to know which ones we're getting. So these come back and GraphQL argument default. You're thinking maybe just try setting it equal to something? No, oh, that would be in the, yeah. I mean, it is a really, really valid point. Fourth one down? There we go. So you can declare them. So maybe what that means is in the query when we ask for the arguments. Whoops. Default value is a new list of int. So now maybe it won't require it. Yeah. We're going to stop the DevStreams site and restart it and see what happens. Maybe that'll get it for us. So first off, that works. An empty array should work. And if we don't include it at all, this seems to work. Just to confirm that we're changing it. Yeah, awesome. That works perfectly. Hooray! That is definitely a hype moment right there. Oh no, when I restarted the bot I didn't reset the screen. Yeah, well I'm not gonna mess with that. No, it's running, but the screen's disconnected. So like, remember it has a like the longer it's down, the longer its retry window is. So it's probably in the like waiting like 20 minutes between retrying, because I think we did it as like a Fibonacci sequence or something like that in the increasing amount of time that it waits. So let me go ahead and just manually restart that overlay. There. That should have done it. Wait, what the? What the? No. No, that's messed up. That's messed up. What even happened? That is crazy. Well, we're gonna kill that overlay for now, because there's something wrong with it. So, goodbye, overlay. I don't know what you're doing. But you will not be turned on again for the rest of the stream, because I'm not going to mess with that while we're on stream. So, that's gone. We'll fix that later. As you might know, I have been messing around with my overlay and other stuff. You've probably noticed some changes on it. Anyone that's a regular here will notice those. Okay, so no overlay stuff from the bot today. Alright, so that seems to work. That page works. So the default, let's see, don't require tag ID in channels query. Fantastic. Excellent. So that is not perfect. What I kind of want to do on this page is make it so that like this tag selection works a little differently. I kind of want to just make it so we display the list of selected tags in like a basically this kind of display, but not within this little drop-down box, right? And then I want to make it so that instead of using a drop-down box to find them, you know, it works a little bit differently. So we're going to change how our multi-select works in order to make that happen. But for now, this feature is here, so we are going to send in the pull request for it, even if we don't merge it. It's definitely there enough that we want to have that at least available for people to look at. Filter channels by tag. Looks good. No, we're not going to draft this. This is part of the MVP milestone. Oh, and I should have mentioned on here, it is related to one of our issues. It is related to this one, number 4. I don't know if this will finally resolve it, but we definitely want that on there, just so they get tied together, because it is part of that. So cool, we've got that pull request in there. Edman3D, awesome. Yes, that is kind of the goal. Is we're trying to build a website that we would use. So that's the point. I'm hoping to get some more people. We've had a handful of people contribute to the project. Our contributors are right here. So these are the people that have worked on it so far, and we are open to contributions from other people. So if you are interested, go check it out on GitHub, and that goes for anyone, not just you, obviously, Ed, but anyone can help us out with that. Feel free to send us a pull request. If you do, we will make sure we thank you on stream for it. We'll probably review it on stream too, at least partially. Okay, so that gets us tags. Let's talk about this. So we can filter by tag. Is there anything else we want to filter by? Because I don't want to do a name search. We're going to want to have paging on this eventually, and maybe sorting as well. Maybe sorting. Oh no, there's no such thing, Thomas. Because there are a lot of ways to contribute, even if it's just updating the documentation and things like that. Everybody can contribute to open source projects. Which, side note, that I do want to mention for everyone, if you are interested in contributing to open source projects, and you know it's a scary idea to you to actually work on one of those, find a streamer. Find a live coding streamer, look at their projects. Doesn't have to be mine. I'm sure Robert Tables has them. I know C# Fritz does as well. Any streamer that has an open source project that they work on during their stream, send a pull request to that project. And the reason I say that is because you can show up in the chat here and you can ask me questions. Most of us have a Discord. You can hop on there and you can ask questions. In fact, in our Discord, we have a channel dedicated to the DevStreams project. So if you have questions, suggestions, want to contribute in some way, you can hop in there and ask. And that same concept goes for pretty much everyone that does live coding stream. We have some project we usually work on, and we're generally open to open source contributions, so we can talk with you about the process and help you through your pull request. Because then you don't have to like fire it into a black hole and be like, oh geez, I hope they do something with this, and then like 6 months later, there's still nothing has happened with it. So, not to say that I won't ignore a pull request sometimes, but I'll usually talk with you about it before that happens, so you'd at least know why it was sitting in limbo. So, yep, kind of cool stuff. Jquery data tables have pretty good sorting and pagination. James, yeah, so, that sounds really familiar. I think I've used this before. Include jQuery and jQuery data tables and just call .data tables, and you get this kind of magic, huh? It's tempting to just use that. It's tempting. Yeah. Yeah, Nick. We totally could get away with just wiring this up. We could just ship with this. Yeah, I think I believe I used this in the past. I haven't messed with it in a long time, but I think I have used it. Well, let's take a look at a better, like, not necessarily just this example, but so with 0 configuration, what do we end up with? This? Yeah, that would actually not be that bad. What was the initial HTML? Just any table at all? It just takes whatever table you had and just wires it up with that. That's nice. Well, sure. We'll toss it on for now. If we don't like it, it's easy enough to replace. So... Hey, Sunamods! Awesome! Sunamods, I'm doing a thing, and I apologize, I am emulating you, but I absolutely love it, and you know what it is. Do you notice anything? Are you here at all, Sunamods, or are you just totally lurking? You could just be totally lurking. I don't know. Oh yeah, you're still here, cool. So did you notice I did a thing with my overlay, and you'll never guess what else I'm gonna do with it, because I'm totally gonna wire up my bot to do the same thing your bot does. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. But yes, I'm gonna do the same thing. Mine's gonna work differently though, because I'm planning on making mine hex code based instead of like choose a color. Yeah, it is. The challenge is I'm gonna do so. Instead of mine being pre-rendered, I'm actually gonna have it be based on, you know, an actual hex value. So, you know, you could do something like, you know, I don't know, this really ugly way of defining red. Yes, exactly. So I went and I put in this one because I was like, let's put in a preview so people can see, like, yeah, I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm going to replace this with one that actually, like, does the color itself. There's going to be some challenges with figuring that out. I think it's going to be a web page. I think. Essentially what I want to do is I want to see if I can just change the property on the web page, so essentially just pass it a query string and have essentially JavaScript draw this either as one giant canvas or something like that that's updating over time, building this overlay, and just put this over top of everything like this, and I think that's the way we're going to do it. So it'll just be JavaScript. Should be cool. And I think I can wire into Streamlabs OBS and change the source property just so it has that value and do a quick refresh. I wasn't going to SignalR it because I don't want it actually to have to connect to a website the Michael Jolly. So my plan was to make my bot update Streamlabs with the new value, essentially. So instead of doing it with SignalR where it actually has to have a permanent connection to it, because I don't want it to have to reconnect to a server. I want it to just work out of the box without having to call home. So that was my plan. So alternately, we could do a file update for it. But yes, the concept is definitely there. Everything else we do in our overlay is all SignalR. So that's actually how we've wired everything up the whole time. Funny enough, if anybody here watches the Code Rush streams by Mark Miller, it was funny. I was the guest on his stream that helped him wire up all his SignalR for that as well. So, which is really awesome. He has done so much cooler stuff with that than I have. Like, man, does he do some really neat integrations there. Would be nice if OBS just had a hue that could be altered directly. Yeah, I agree, Sunamods. If they had something like that, you could put in so many different options for it. If you could just alter colors on objects. But I do think that it's going to work out pretty well to just pass in a web page that it will wire up. Either way, where was it? So we were going to wire up data tables, so let's hop on to that page that we were going to put them on for now. I'm going to put it direct on that page instead of in the whole site for now. So we're going to say script source equals that. Whoops, that's not the script tag. I had the other one on my clipboard. Brendan, pay more attention to what you're doing. Typo in a markup. Data tables. That's funny. It thinks that has a typo in it. What's it want to fix it to? That's so funny, because it knows that that's data and tables, and it's like, no, that's two words. It would calm down if I did that. See? Data tables. Now it doesn't squiggle. That's so funny, because it wants me to camel case it. Yeah. Good call. Link. And these will move somewhere else eventually. Why is that complaining? Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. See? I didn't do it there. Links aren't supposed to get closed, which is so weird. I hate some things in HTML. It's derpy. Well, that piece is. Okay, so what do we have to do over here? It wants us to. So we'll call this unmounted. I think I included jQuery already. I think it's included on all the pages, but I don't remember for certain. So we're about to find out. So I'm going to need to include it up there. But then on mounted, we're going to need to say, after fetch channels? I don't actually know if that's going to work or not. We're about to find out. This could get ugly, because we loaded in after the fact. Where's the actual table object? Table, class table. That's funny. I just called it table because it didn't need an ID before, because we weren't doing anything with it. Channel table. Table? Channel table. Hashtag channel table. That is a great question, Nick. That is a great question. It does not. So we can probably get away with that. Good call, Nick. Good call. So I'm not sure what's going to happen because it's going to wire this up without actually having any data in there, and then we're going to add the data because Vue is going to bring it in after the fact. So we're going to find out what it does. Where does Jquery appear in our solution? There, obviously. Good, it is on the layout, so we do have access to it everywhere. Now, I thought someone included it. I could have sworn we had some code somewhere that included Jquery. Do none of these do it? Who needed Jquery then? Huh. I'm sure we do that in one of our other projects. Give me 1 second while I look that up. Hop on over here. You're telling me I don't import anywhere? No, I don't. Okay. Nope, I don't do it there. So did we do it in our game jams? Yeah, but I don't import Jquery. Okay, so... Whoops. JavaScript module import Jquery. Yep. I just want to make sure that that's gonna... Cool. So that'll give us both $$ and Jquery. Oh, and then you can export for other scripts to use. No thanks, I'm just gonna do this. Okay. I'll sign that. Get rid of the find results. We don't ever do that anywhere, but that's fine. Why is that complaining about that? That shouldn't be complaining about that. Let's stop the website, and I'm going to check out chat here in a second and see if you all are yelling at me for doing something stupid. Riley Dom, hey, welcome, greetings. Stream's been going for a little over 2 hours, nice. Welcome back, Riley Dom. Yeah, we are still going here. RIP. Oh, I broke something. There must be an error on the page, yeah. Maybe it, we might not be considered a module. I bet we're not a module. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it's on the page anyway. Maybe we can just run it if we're not a module. Yeah, we're not a module. Okay. Whoa! Alright, the styling's a little messed up. No data available in the table and showing the data. Something's wrong. So it doesn't like our styling. Let's... Oh god, that's so white. Why is it saying no data available? Oh, and it totally breaks when we do that, so the binding gets totally busted. So view and data tables are not playing nicely, to say the least. Yeah, datatables.net with Vue. That got bad. That got messed up. So there's a Vue data tables package. Huh. Yeah, here we go. Let's look at what this is. Will this get me one? Yeah, so this is not the same one, but I think it'll work. Vuetify.js. The V data table component. Yeah, there we go. Let's take a look at this instead. How do I actually use it, though? Where's the, Is this a free one? Who made this? Vuetify. How do you work? Are you, Nope. Quick start. View add Vuetify. Might take a look at this. Data tables. Because we could write our own, but it seems like this is just too standard a thing. Maybe the word grid will get us different ones. Grid component from VueJS. What's this? Simple, super simple. Not paging though. Not paging. So, seems like people do recommend the Vuetify one. Alright, so we'll take a look at Vuetify.js and see if we can. I want to get it with a CDN instead of actually having to build it in. There we go. So we already have view, but we don't have viewtify yet. So let's include that. We're gonna put this one direct on the page, like we did with the last one. So instead of using data tables, because it didn't work for us, we're gonna put in this one. So viewtify.js, and it wants to have a style sheet up on the top, which we can go ahead and include for it. I wonder if it actually is using the I wonder if it's actually using that font or not. The Google API font it claims to be using. Okay. Okay, and then this should have it included, and then I just need to add in the component, which in this case would be the data table. V data table component. There's one. So the challenge is we have to use this instead of the table in here if we're gonna do this. So we're no longer a basic table, and we're now this instead if we go this route. Ah, and they define the headers separately as properties that we would have to put in there. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So they have a whole structure then on that type. How to fix the error with a complex query in EF core? Is that your question there, DJ Uzi? Can I suggest an answer for the development? I'm actually kind of surprised that it lets you post that link. Oh, I let Stack Overflow links go through. Never mind. I think Stack Overflow links are allowed through. But the that is not something I've got time to get into right now, because we need to make this stuff work. So let's add in the headers to our data, since that's what it's looking for. So we'll add that. Headers shouldn't change. Sortable, false. Actually, we do want these to be sortable. They didn't make that sortable, so we do want these sortable, so we're gonna say not showing that. But what's not sortable in our grid? In our grid, everything, tags shouldn't really be sortable. There's not really a way of sorting by tags. So we'll have tags be our non-sortable column. Tags. Align left, sortable false, value name? That's not really where its value's coming from, is it? I wonder if we can use a calculated property. Well, I hope it can handle a calculated property, because if not, then we're in trouble. Because then this won't work either. I don't know where to get its value from, though. So we have tags. We have name comes before tags. Name, tags, and then next stream. Yeah, because we called methods on them. So we'll say tags and next stream are the value, but they're not going to display right at first, I don't think. We'll see what it does with this. Were the other ones not aligned? Is that the deal? Oh, yeah, that's weird. We had all our stuff aligned left. So I'm gonna keep doing that, actually. Whoops. Alright, let's see if this page works. Since that was all front-end changes, the answer to that is pretty much a no. Oh, alright, because I have a bunch of things that aren't wired up yet. Yeah. Items are not desserts, they are channels. Definitely not using that class just yet. Can I? Nope. Oh, right. I'm not in... There we go. We're just gonna get rid of those for now. I don't know what to do with them yet. These are not the values. Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I get it. I understand what it's doing now. Those were the values for when they're doing the sorting and everything like that. When they're doing those. So we could probably get away with that. So our properties then become this. I think I can call it that, just because I like that name a little bit better. And lastly will be this one. Oh, I love source control. Riley Dom. Yeah, there should be Bootstrap stuff in here, if that's what you're seeing. That's from ASP.NET has used Bootstrap for a long time as like their basic stuff. So they get the basic structure in ASP.NET by just including Bootstrap, and they do their simple layout based on that most of the time. Alright, what's the actual error we're getting here? Property method channel is not defined on the instance, but referred. Okay, so that is complaining that I used channel as this. So I'm going to try props instead of this. Channel? Where'd I use channel? Oh, channel ID right here. Yep, I did use it there. Yep, I still had one. You know what? I'm going to cut this for now. We're going to see what happens with that. See if that's the one that's causing us trouble. It's the weird one. Maybe property name of undefined, because it doesn't know what props is. What the heck was this one doing?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
Hey, Gareth. Welcome. Thanks for that sub. 7 months. Nice. Greetings. Doing well. Is that... welcome. And glad you're here. Hope things are going well on your streams as well. We are just messing around with some... trying to get our data tables to work a little bit nicer with some paging and other thing like that. So we're looking at some of the options for this, and so, yeah, this is the template for the items. This is the item templates. And when you do this, maybe don't define what it is. But then how does it know what the individual items are?
Developers.
Don the developer, welcome. Thanks for following. Sadly, I don't actually have all my raid defenses up. I don't even know what we're going to do. Luckily, I've got Gareth here and some others to spam the chat with some hype to defend us. I turned off my overlay because it was giving us some problems, so no overlay right now, but welcome everybody from Don the Developer streams. Greetings. Hopefully you're having a pretty good day. Perfect, Gareth. That is a waving dog and a hyping chatosaurus. Ancient Coder, yeah, I have the overlay turned off, so you won't get any, you won't get the flying spam of hype emotes flying around. That is the one thing that you are missing. So vslot, do I not have, can we shorten even further? Just don't specify the content is assumed for the default slot. Without an argument, it's just assumed to refer to the default slot. Yeah, okay, so it's default, and then abbreviated syntax, named slots. Okay, so I'm going to dig back into that in a second, but I figure I'm going to give all of you a nice welcome description of what we do here on the channel. Hi, my name is Brendan. This channel is DevChatter. We are a stream that's been going for, well, I mean, our current stream has been going for a couple of hours, but DevChatter has been around since early 2018. So we've been going, this has been a stream for over a year. We do a lot of open source projects here on DevChatter. One of the ones we're working on right now is actually our DevStreams community site, so I will show you all what that looks like when it's not, you know, our currently broken version, because we're in the middle of changing things. So let me do this to show you. me stash my changes. And refresh the page, and I will show you what the site looks like. So this is our DevStreams site. It's just a, you know, bland Battleship Gray website that we're working on right now. Essentially, the idea of it is this is a community website where you can find other live coding streams, because it's hard to find streams when they're not live. Because right now I could go to the Twitch page, I could go to the programming tag and look at streams that are live, but I can't find them when they're not live. So the goal of this is to make a place where you can find a bunch of channels, and say I want to find one that does VueJS, for example. I can just go ahead and search for VueJS, and I will find that DevChatter does VueJS, and notice the other ones disappeared. So that's the basic idea. We're going to put in some better, you know, UI for all of this, but the concept is here that we want to be able to make it so you can find channels based on this various information. The other thing that we want to do is make it so that you, and again, UI needs to get updated, this is not the final UI, but we want to make it so you can find channels based on when their streams are happening. So this right here is reporting that DevChatter is supposed to have a stream on April 13th, which is today, and it's supposed to start at 1700 UTC. Now again, we're going to use Moment.js to put this in the user's local time, but we do have these concepts of when everything is going to happen. DevChatter is the only stream that is in the database that has a stream today, so that's why that's the only one appearing. Obviously, that's this stream right here, right now, that we're watching. So that's the idea with that. No, Gareth, my bot does not have a sub right now. It has subbed a few times in the past, and by my bot has subbed, I mean people have gifted subscriptions to my bot a few times. Not really much reason to, but it's been done. Wait a second. No, Mattis, we're using Vue, not React. But yes, I can understand your confusion. They do look a little similar. Exactly, Mattis. That's why we're building it. So people should absolutely, if you do want this site to exist, go check out our GitHub and help us get this working. Because the only time I actually spend on this is when I'm live on the stream and I'm chatting with other people as well. So pull requests from people absolutely help us a ton on any of our projects, just because obviously I can't be as efficient on a stream as, you know, you can be working on your own time. So if anybody is interested in contributing, that link over there in the chat as well as down below the stream. And if you are new here also, you should check out our Discord. It's actually very active. We have literally hundreds of people in our Discord. So if you are interested in chatting with people about programming stuff, software development of any kind, whatever language or tech you're interested in, feel free to check it out. It's not going to be the best place for, like, I mean, you can ask questions there, but I mean, for that, you're probably still better off going to Stack Overflow unless you're afraid of getting yelled at. At which point, yeah, you can ask there. But it's really nice to have a good community of people, so feel free to check it out. Links in the chat as well as down below, obviously. Unlike React, Vue separates logic from the template. Yes, I do really like the separation. So as Skip mentions there, what I absolutely love about Vue is if you are not experienced with Vue, you can usually hop in and figure out what Vue's doing. So that, like, lower barrier to figuring out what it's doing is what makes Vue just so darn nice. So I'm not sure why my green screen's not lit up very well right now. I'm gonna have to tweak my lights. There's something going on. I apparently didn't get my green screen set up all that well today. Anyway, not a big deal. There's a little bit of shimmer around me. The illusion is broken. I'm not really standing in front of Visual Studio. Or the browser, the Chrome window, imagine. I know you were all convinced. So that's the idea, and then we want to do things like, so these are the next streams that show, and we actually have a, thanks to one of our moderators here, S&B, we have this nice GraphQL setup, so we're going to make this available so other applications can also leverage some of this data. We're hoping people don't go too crazy with it, but hoping for some good stuff. We want to be able to make it so that the live streaming community is set up nicely. Anyway, I was looking at this. So why will this not work? So the default one's gonna be something of that arrays. Non-specific kind of font properties, user, first name. So font properties, user, first name stuff. Not available here. Yeah. Why would it be? Because it was in the other. Oh, that's if you have a template inside of your current one. Okay, that's all they're trying to say, I think. Okay, well, I won't worry about that for now. We're gonna have to take a look. Skip, you just joined. Do I mind sharing why you're looking at slots? I very rarely use them in Vue apps. Oh, so I was looking at it because the template that we were using, we were looking at pulling in a component that used them. So that's why we were looking at it. I don't use them very often either, so that's why I was like, let me go reference that because I don't use them very often. The code's not on the screen. I think I'm gonna scrap the direction we were going with that, so I will trash the those changes. Razor components are great, Janisku. I agree. There's a lot of cool stuff going on in the tech world right now, so I am a happy camper, and I think a lot of other people are too. So, for those of you that are new here to the channel, I'm going to mention a couple of other things. So first off, welcome. Feel free to ask questions. We like to chat about stuff here. Discussing code is one of our things. We like live coding, but we also like the discussion, hence the name DevChatter. We are not just dev, although that would be a fun name for a channel as well. We've got some interesting projects that we're working on. We obviously build our own bot here, although we haven't actually worked on it in like I don't know, 8 months or something like that. We did a bunch of side projects as well, and we'll probably get back to it sometime soon. A couple of the other things that I want to talk about are what our project's based on. So if anyone is interested in it, our project is an ASP.NET Core website. And that means the primary languages we're using are C# and JavaScript. Our data access is all done through Dapper. If you don't know what Dapper is, its short answer is it's Stack Overflow's micro ORM. We use Fluent Migrator to handle all of our migrations to everything, and we have GraphQL set up as the place for exposing a public API. We still technically have our old REST API that we are replacing with GraphQL. Should be a nicer way to do most stuff. And other than that, we've got minor connections to Twitch. We're going to need to connect to it some more to get some more information, but that's the main stuff that we've got in there. Yes, Riley Dom, that is rigged. This is not a pure front-end app. It is not. So we plugged this in. You are correct. Yep, that's why we're not using Skip. You have figured it out nicely. I think technically Dapper is owned by Sam Saffron, who works for Discourse. Now, let's put it this way, Nick. I'll just say that it's used by Stack Overflow, and then we're good. I mean, I was assuming it was an employee that was there that made it, but it's one of those like, built in part by. I'm sure they make contributions to it, so at least at this point. I forget when I first started using it. It was a bunch of years ago, because I was working there maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, no, that is a big thing. It is hard to keep track of who builds what in the community unless someone puts their name in it. Like Newtonsoft JSON, for example, is an easy one to remember because he put Newtonsoft in the name. So James Newton King did. so it's easy to remember who made that one. But if you don't shove your name in the name of your in the name of your project, no one knows who or what community or what company or what person did it at that point. But yes, awesome job, Sam, on making a really good ORM that we like. I was gonna do something. Still something I was gonna do. Oh yes. So if you are new here, let's do this. The bot's running, right? Yes. Okay. It was just a slight delay there. So here on the stream, we actually do 4 streams a week on DevChatter on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at what? Why is that wrong? That is wrong. Why is that wrong? Eastern Daylight Time? What? What? That's not right. Why is that wrong? I guess I haven't run the schedule in a while. Did it cache that? What's the deal? Yeah, Janisku, you don't have to send multiples. It's not right. Well, in that case, we're gonna have to fix that, whatever that one is. Schedule's down below the stream, and I'll just show it here, because it should be right on this website. So we'll just do this. How do I pass in that query? I'm gonna go steal some existing code from our project, because that will save me from having to write it myself. Copy pasta for the win! So we're gonna grab next stream and schedule. There we go. We'll grab schedule as the time zone. Is that gonna work? Nope, it doesn't like that there. Oh, maybe that's only, schedule? Oh, right. Never mind. Of course it works, but I didn't actually include that, variable. And it is a string with a capital letter. And for my variables, I am going to define TZ, and TZ is going to be a America/new_York. There we go. Alright, so that one actually converted correctly. Yeah, it's off. Yeah, so jittered. The stupid thing about that is it should work, because we actually do use Notatime and handle all the time zones. We pull the time zone data for that location from Google. That should work. I'm going to have to dig into why that one didn't. We must have something wrong somewhere. But Torek, welcome. Thanks for following. Much appreciated. And anyone else that's in the chat and you've enjoyed any of our discussion or anything like that, be sure to click the follow button to make sure you get notified when we go live. So here's the idea. So we stream on Mondays at 2, Tuesdays at 2, Thursdays we start at noon, and on Saturdays we start at 1 p.m., and that is in Eastern Time in the United States. If you are not in Eastern Time in the United States, you can put in whatever time zone you want and get that as well, or just look down below the stream, because we have a panel down there that should show you the correct time. So if you scroll on down below the stream on this page here, you will find right here, it said stream not scheduled for a moment there. Now live, but Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at those times, and if you go down here, it'll show it in your time zone. Speaking of which, in our plans for this project is to build a widget like this that ties into our website to display it as well. Because this right here, this panel that exists today, this has to get configured by each streamer, and it doesn't update for daylight savings time, so when daylight savings time happens, I have to go in here and adjust all the times, and that's just dumb. So I don't want to do that. I want the website to automatically account for that and show the right thing in this little panel. So that is our plan. Hopefully we can get that wired up, but we'll see how it goes. Let me get rid of that, so we don't get the I forget what the name of that is when you have like the repeating thing. That's it's not. I mean, like we would call it recursion, but it's hard to remember what that's called. My brain's not working. Why isn't my brain working? Anyway. Yeah. So, Inception. Yes, exactly. There you go, Skip. Skip, did you click that follow button yet? You better click that follow button. I'm gonna be offended. Not only that bug, that extension shows the times for the hosted person instead of the hoster. Oh, yes, jittered. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. If you go to a stream, one stream that's hosting another, I know what you're talking about. Here, there is a terrible bug in this. So this is our stream. Who's probably hosting me? Don the developer? Don the developer rated me. He should be hosting me, right? Yeah. He's hosting me. Does he have it? He doesn't have it. Who else would be hosting me? Rambling Geek. Thank you. Oh, Sunamods is hosting me and has that. Yeah. No, Rambling Geek doesn't have it. Sunamods, you have the extension. JitterTed has it. Here it is. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. No, this is showing his. So it is showing the hosters. Maybe that bug isn't there anymore. Nope, bug's not there anymore. Okay, awesome. Well, either way, glad they fixed it, because that was an annoying bug. So that would have been terrible. Yes, JitterTed, I also auto-host, so sometimes I see it hosting someone that's playing a game, and I get kind of annoyed because I kind of want to tell the Twitch auto-hosting, like, this is my list of people, but if someone's doing science and technology, prefer that person over the gaming ones, only because my stream is not a gaming stream, so some of the people I auto-host do game every once in a while, and yeah, I want to host them if there's not a programming one, but I'd much rather go to a programming stream. So, because that's the audience that's going to be here. Speaking of which, Sunamods is another one that would fall into the same category, except he'd probably get knocked out of that one, because he usually streams under a game because he's modding that game. So, he must have just fixed it. It was broken yet. Yeah, I'm not sure, JitterTed, because I've definitely seen that bug a lot in the past, too. Yes. Yeah, tags and things like that, because I would really love some more control over auto-hosting. That would be a nice feature. So, anyway, that is what we're building here. Stuff we've done on the stream in the past, we have done a reasonable amount of just like casual game development on here, and we love doing chat interactive stuff. So, thing I was talking about with Sunamods that we were discussing, if you notice the red lights that are kind of like shifting around, that red color that's shifting around on my stream, you can see it over on the right-hand side right now. I want to change my overlay. I'm going to do something cool with it. We're going to give chat the power to control the color of that, and I kind of want this just to be a rolling animation that's doing something interesting in the background the whole time, something like this, and give chat full color control. We'll probably build most of that on stream, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm looking forward to building that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, I want to make sure that we wrap at a reasonable time. I think we've been streaming for about 3 hours, but I don't want anyone to go anywhere, because I do want to make sure that we raid our next person. So let me check our uptime. What do yeah, we're just shy of 3 hours. And we are going to raid probably the Michael Jolly. I think he just started up. So let's take a look. The Michael Jolly, yeah, he's started. So it looks like he's doing C#, JavaScript, CSS, and SignalR to do some stream Easter eggs? Weird. So looks like he's going to be doing some overlay stuff, which is similar to what we actually used to do a lot of in the past here on the stream, and we will be doing some more of in the future. But if you are looking forward to that, I would say stick around, and I would ask everybody at least stick around until we get over there, and then just type something nice in chat. How about we say like DevChatter, like maybe a DevChatter raid. Anybody that's got our hype emotes, go ahead and use those. But why don't we just spam our hype emotes for anybody that is a sub here, and anybody else, if you don't have that, just say something like "Hello from DevChatter," something along those lines. And what we're gonna do is roll our credits, because I want to always make sure that we thank everybody at the ends of our streams. Pyrolock, welcome, thanks for that follow, and you got in before we ran the credits, so you will be thanked in our credits as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get those rolling. I want to make sure that I thank everybody that came out today. Thank you for supporting the stream and hanging out. Thank you, S&B, for the biddies, and as well as S&B and Stoolpenner for hanging out and helping to moderate the chat today. I would love to thank all of these wonderful people who decided to follow the stream today. If you are not following the stream yet, be sure to click that follow button to get notified when we next go live. And then I also want to thank the Michael Jolly, Fixter Jake, S&B, and Gareth Hubble, both for the subs and resubs, because you are all awesome. The Michael Jolly, I should have had this raid in here before I did that, but I will see everyone on Monday for our next stream. It should be a good one. We are going to be doing some more C#, ASP.NET, JavaScript, VueJS code. It will always be a blast, and I look forward to seeing you all on our next episode. Take care, enjoy the rest of your weekend, happy coding everyone, and I will see you next time.
An Angular front end that we're deploying to Raspberry Pis. Oh no, it's getting real all of a sudden. Hey DevChatter, I just logged out of your channel a minute ago to go do some work. I realized it's gotten to be the afternoon and I haven't done any work, and I thought, hey, it'd be fun to do this on stream. Let me see. I think is our chat not connected and our emotes not connected? I didn't see those pop